And we are recording. So I wanted to begin this Zoom session with a recap of the sales proposal and just highlight some of the things that really stood out to me that I thought were great. And I'm not putting any names to the papers or phrases. One paper had a section on meet our team, which I thought was really cool and have pictures up there. It sort of, it gets that, gets the person to get familiar somehow, with the people who are reading this document. So it's really, really solid, good point. Using, let me just admit, Matt. Hopefully he comes on. Hey, Matt. Oh, he's connecting to audio. Hey, Matt. So we're just going over the sales proposal, and I'm just pointing out some of the things that I thought were really great about some of the sales proposals. So I just quickly to recap, somebody had a meet our team section with photos, which was awesome. Using the extra large font for different sections. Someone wrote, I don't know if it was in the intro or wherever it was, but they wrote partner with you. And I saw the word partner and I'm like, sold, right? Just really brilliant. And then there was another one, one of the cool things, right? So you would think like, well, that's not really grammatically correct, but right, listen, who is your audience? And maybe this is somebody you've done business with and you can use that language and maybe it will make people feel like, oh, wow, this sounds like a really good company, Someone wrote, now that we have your attention, and they were going to surprise somebody with, one of the new things that they're getting into to offer their services. So we had use of different names for pricing structures. I don't remember who did this, but there was biscuits and gravy and orange juice. I don't know if any of you came across that. And it was a technology company, and I was trying to get the connection on eggs and bacon, and it was cute. I liked it. But if you were a breakfast catering service, I think that would have worked much better, right? But for technology, maybe it could have been, I don't know, like, a mouse support or whatever, Some people included notable projects, mentioning other people that they have done business with, and to just get those big names out there, which is another great selling point. Having a client list, we've worked with Microsoft and Amazon and all of this. Stay tuned for our new services, like really cool, and that was just like, oh, what is it? And it's phrases like that that make you really want to say, okay, I've got to continue reading, like what's going on here. Asking a question in the introduction was a really good way of going about it. Something like, so, are your platforms all safe and secure? Or are you, I don't know, do you ever worry about security breaches at your company? Just by phrasing a question, that was a really good idea. Using statistics, some put in like, with our services, it can increase your sales by X percentage, or the people we've worked with, we've increased their traffic by X percentage. One of the papers had a guarantee where if you don't see the results that we're telling you you're going to get, in the first 6 months. The first 6 months are on us. It's free, right? Everybody's going to want to jump at that type of an opportunity. But overall, they were great sales proposals. Anybody have any questions about the sales proposals or grading or anything of that nature? Matt, you're thinking.
No, I think mine is pretty straightforward.
Okay. Still love that sign behind you. Now I have it in my head. Anyway, okay, so for the upcoming assignment, there are 2 components. There's going to be an assignment, which is managing a crisis presentation, and then there's going to be a discussion board of what would you do. So the first thing that I will do is I'll go through managing the crisis presentation. It's a PowerPoint, so it's not a paper. The instructions say it should be a 5 to 7 minute presentation, no less than 5, no more than 15, 6 to 10, 7 to 10, I think would be good. You can use the notes in PowerPoint, you know, in the notes section, and you can submit it that way, or you can use the audio function and actually present it, which should be really cool. But either way is perfectly fine. So your audience, these are executives at your firm who don't know that much about cybersecurity. They know the word, they've heard it, they've read it on the news, they've heard about security breaches, but that's the extent of their knowledge. So that's who your audience is. They are, you know, so one thing to avoid in this presentation is start using all these acronyms and this technical jargon. You're gonna lose them, right? So you need to simplify it for them. The presentation has to be on an area in cybersecurity, right? So it's vast. There could be so many different types of things on cybersecurity. So I wrote down some examples. It could be, what is cybersecurity? What is the importance of it, right? Which is kind of broad and might be a little difficult to narrow that down. So if you wanted to get a little more narrow, you can do something on phishing attacks, right? What are they? You know, how do they infiltrate our systems? You know, I've heard of phishing, right? I'm the executive, and it's like, yeah, I've heard of phishing. Oh, we had a phishing attack, huh? But I don't know what it is. So your presentation is going to tell me what it is. So now that I know, now I will know more. Malware. What does it mean to move to the cloud? Right? Could be another example. Different types of security breaches that happen. You know, there could be a compilation of different types of security breaches. Using firewalls. Okay, yeah, yes, we have a firewall at our company, and I'm the executive, and I'm like, but what is it? What does that mean? What does that do, right? So you're going to tell me about that. Why is it important to encrypt data? Personal data is another example. Password attacks, identity theft, ransomware. We've all heard of ransomware, and you know, but how does that really occur, right? Like, it's like they hold the company hostage, but what's involved with that? So that could be another topic. Drive-by attacks. There's a ton of stuff out there. So you want to just pick one item, 7 to 10 slides. If you have any references, put in a reference slide. I came across, I'm going to put this in the chat. I came across a website, and that's where I was getting all of these examples from. I want to make sure that I get it right. phoenixapp.com blog, and it gives you all of these different types of cybersecurity topics that you can talk about. So you may want to go to that website and get some more ideas. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, if you're going to use acronyms, make sure that you write out the word first, then put the acronym, and then maybe one of your slides is a slide of acronyms and what they all mean, right? So any questions about that crisis management presentation?
I tend to do my
So I
content.
could do, go ahead.
Oh, I just was saying, I tend to do it towards nonprofit. So if I did something on like donor data breaches, because a lot of nonprofits don't have any protection at all, that would work for this.
Perfect. Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah. Nicole?
So I could do what is cybersecurity, even though it's broad. I ask because I don't know a lot about cybersecurity, so that would be a good starting point for me to start researching exactly what it is and learning while I'm trying to present.
Yeah, absolutely. What is cybersecurity? I mean, it's some sort of an attack on a company's, not just a company, right? So with cybersecurity, it could impact an individual as well, right? So, I mean, you can definitely give a high level presentation on what is cybersecurity and hit some main points. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Matt, any questions?
Yeah, I kind of already started doing some research or whatever, and so like trying to refrain from using technical words. What if there's different. I think I'm choosing malware, so I've noticed that there's like different types of malware. Would listing the different types kind of fall under that kind of technical, using the technical words and kind of lose the audience, or?
Maybe not, but I think most importantly for you would be, you're going to have your opening slide, presentation, whatever. Your first slide is going to be malware, and you're going to explain what malware is and the different shapes, forms, and sizes that it comes in, right? So that you would have to make sure that you're letting the reader know what it is, and then you can get into the types of malware, maybe focusing in on the top 2 or 3.
Okay.
And your ending could be there are many more forms of malware that are out there, but these are the most common that we should be on the lookout for.
Okay.
And I also wanted to point out that there's something on in the module that says refer to your textbook about something. So so the cybersecurity, this particular module was created by one of the professors who teaches cybersecurity. And I have a feeling that she copied it from one of her courses. So if you see that type of language, there is no textbook or anything. It's just, what we've been talking about. So if you're trying to say what textbook, there isn't one. And before I go on, I wanted to make sure that all of you saw my announcement on the template that I sent you for the case study. And that I realized afterwards, I said, oh boy, this is an APA 6.0. Not much changes, but there are some changes, like the cover page is a different format. And then level 3 and level 4 headings are a different format. I would say other than that, I think it's fine. So just be cognizant of that if you do refer to that template. Okay, so the next thing is going to be a discussion board, and what would you do? And the scenario is your company, the data has been hacked from your company, 150,000 customers' data has been hacked. You have 500 million customers, so you're catching it at an early stage, right? Even though, 150,000 is a lot of people, but you have 500 million customers, so you're catching it early. So you are the network administrator, you're the IT manager, you're the CEO, CFO, CIO, you're someone in the organization that realized this happened. And now you have to write about what are your next steps. What would you do if you were the CIO, right? And quite frankly, I don't think anybody at the CEO or CFO level, even the CIO level, would probably realize that there was a data breach. It's probably going to start down low as, a network administrator or maybe the IT manager would realize, right? So if I'm the IT manager, my employee has come to me and said, okay, 150,000 records have been breached. What do you want me to do? So that's where you list in bullet points what your 4 to 5 next steps would be, right? So some examples: do you shut down all of your systems, right? Or are these, your scenario can be that these 150,000 records were on this one particular server. So do you shut down that particular server? You're making up the scenario in your head. If you don't know where it's coming from, do you shut everything down? And this brings me back to Twitter. They stopped the accounts that were hacked, but they let their systems open, right? So, your first step, could be shut everything down. Your next, or it could be get the team together and let's figure out what this is. Identifying the type of attack that it is, could be another step. Do you alert, would one of your steps be alert those who have been attacked? Do you alert the employees? Do you alert the media, right? This can go several different ways. Depending on the type of attack, you can get law enforcement involved, right? So is that one of the first things that you would do? So let's say your first reaction is, okay, we know it's confined to this one server. So if it were me, I would write, I've identified that it has come from one server. So that server has been shut down and we have been investigating it and we found out that it is a ransomware attack. We've notified the authorities because ransomware, you have to do that. Executives and management have been advised, and we're leaving it up to those departments to notify their departments of what happened. We're going to call in our PR person who's going to put out a press release and make a statement. And then I'm going to document everything that was done. That's my plan. And that's it, right? So for however you want to, whatever you think should be done, first, second, third, 5 things right out of the gate, what would you do? Yeah, and in terms of law enforcement, there's no federal law on any attacks. It's a state by state thing. So, if you want that as part of one of the steps that you would do by choosing to contact law enforcement, then you'd have to just do some looking up of the state that you're selecting to find out what their laws are. Yeah, so that's what I got. Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments? It seems pretty straightforward. You know, when you're doing your PowerPoint, you know, make sure that so I've been reading about PowerPoint presentations, and I don't know if any of you have heard of the 6x6 rule with PowerPoints. So I've recently read that that's, I'll use Joe Biden's word, a bunch of malarkey. He just said that on the debate and it just came to my mind. So it's the rule of thumb, 6x6, but some people are now saying that, you know, you can add more graphics, and those graphics can have arrows and call outs, which would contain more information. But as long as it still looks neat and pretty, right? But when all else fails, follow the 6x6. You know, make it, you don't write a sentence as a bullet point, for sure. Still don't do that. Where you could use a sentence in a PowerPoint presentation is, let's say you have a diagram of a server, and then you have a call out, and there's a sentence that said, this is server number 1 that was breached, and we would shut it off here, or whatever. Right, so that's how and where you can use a sentence when you're creating a PowerPoint presentation. But for the bullet points, you know, you don't want, you know, 3 to 4 lines of a sentence with 5 bullet points where the text ends up like this. Be consistent with your headings, be consistent with your fonts, be consistent with whether you're going to end your bullet points with a period or not. It's a pet peeve of mine. Sometimes people will have bullet points and there's a period, except for one. It's like, well, what are we doing here? Why'd you leave off the period? You had it there and then you took it off. So just for consistency. And what else about PowerPoints? I think that's it. I mean, they're straightforward. I mean, feel free to use the 6x6 rule. All I'm saying is that the rules have changed and they're not being so stringent on that 6x6. And the 6x6, for those of you who don't know, it's no more than 6 items on a slide with no more than 6 words. And I'm not going to sit and count the number of words you have on a bullet or anything like that. As long as it's clean, clear, and crisp, you know, I'm fine with that. And like I said, if you want to use audio, feel free to do that instead of writing everything out. Questions?
I'll let Matt go first.
Okay. Yeah. So like in the notes, we're putting it out like we're pretty much doing the audio of the presentation, just not with the audio, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
If you do choose to record it, you want us to use the internal PowerPoint audio, or could we use something like Loom, where it records and then we submit the link and it'll take you directly to it, and then submit our slides alongside it just in case anything went wrong?
Sure, you can try that. Hopefully there won't be any issues with Canvas, you know, accepting that, but yeah, definitely. Get as creative as you want, and yeah, make it fun. We're supposed to be having fun. Is everyone having fun? Good. All right, well, that's all I have about the feedback from the previous assignment, which, you know, everybody did really well, and the upcoming assignment. And I'm going to schedule another meeting for Monday at 6 p.m. for next week. I'll just continue to do this, and if people show up, great. If not, I'll just sit and talk to myself, and I'll record it for those of you who can't make it. If you see on the chat, I have the website that I recommended for you to go to look up topics for cybersecurity topics that you can choose to write about. And I think that's it, unless you guys have any questions. No.
I just have a comment. I think these Zoom meetings are very helpful to hear you explaining everything more and getting questions out of the way, because if I have a question, I'm sure someone else has that question, and being able to watch the videos the last 2 weeks since I was on back shift was, super helpful. I wouldn't have probably got through those assignments so easy without them.
Well, I'm really glad, Nicole, and you're so right. Like you said, if you have the question, it's roaming around in lots of other people's heads. And so, sometimes we'll get through all of the questions and answers here. If not, you guys know that you can always reach out to me. And I'm more than happy to do these Zoom sessions. I know that, it's an online class, and, it's supposed to be you're just doing your stuff and I'm just grading your stuff. But I always feel that collaborating is just going to add to your success. So I find it important, for you guys as well as myself. I think it's, because you're going to get out there in the real world, and you're not going to be, well, hopefully once COVID gets through, where you're not going to be sitting at home by yourself and just staring at the four walls. Eventually you will be with other people and have to interact with them. Might be another course that will have to retrain people on how to interact with people. Anyway, so if that's it, I hope you guys have a great week. Good luck on the assignments. I know you won't need it. And any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me. And go Bears. They're playing right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great evening.
You too.
You too.
Bye-bye.